January 27th, 1967. It was meant to be a routine test. The Apollo 1 crew, strapped into their capsule on Launch Pad 34, running through a simulation. There was no fuel in the rocket. The danger was considered minimal. But in the highly pressurized, pure oxygen atmosphere of the cabin, a single spark would be all it took. What followed was a tragedy that stunned the world and brought America's moon program to a halt. But the official story of a wire short circuit only scratches the surface. The real story is one of a fatal systemic flaw, a secret problem that was hiding in plain sight. The test was called Plugs Out, checking if the spacecraft could operate on internal power. From the start, there were problems. A strange smell in the air suits, persistent communication static. Then, at 6:31 p.m., a surge of power shot through a damaged wire. Chaffee's voice is heard first. Fire. We've got a fire in the cockpit. Then, just seconds later, a scream. And then silence. The transmission lasted only 17 seconds. So, what made this fire so catastrophic? The first part of the fatal flaw was the atmosphere. To simulate space, NASA used 100% oxygen at a pressure higher than outside. In this environment, materials that are normally safe become highly flammable. Aluminum, rubber, and even Velcro. The second part was the hatch. To ensure an airtight seal in space, it was designed to open inwards. But during the test, the high internal pressure created a vacuum, sealing the men inside. It took the ground crew 5 full minutes to get it open. The astronauts never stood a chance. The cabin itself was a fire hazard. Miles of vulnerable wiring, and everywhere, flammable items for convenience, nylon nets, Velcro patches, even paper manuals. It was a perfect storm of combustibility. But these physical flaws were just symptoms. The real secret problem was a cultural one. It was a phenomenon called normalization of deviance, where known risks become accepted as normal because disaster hasn't struck yet. There have been warnings. Over 100 documented cases of electrical problems with the same spacecraft contractor. A fire in a pure oxygen chamber had occurred just 2 years prior. An internal report even described Apollo's wiring as unacceptable. But with the intense pressure to beat the Soviets to the moon, these red flags were downplayed or ignored. The go fever was too strong. The Apollo 1 fire was a brutal, necessary wake-up call. The entire American space program was put on hold for 20 months. In that time, the Apollo spacecraft was completely redesigned. The inward opening hatch was replaced with one that could be blown open by an astronaut in 3 seconds. Flammable materials were banned. The cabin atmosphere was changed to a safer nitrogen-oxygen mix. Every wire and circuit was inspected and shielded. The tragedy forged a new culture of safety first at NASA. The sacrifice of Grissom, White, and Chaffee was not in vain. The lessons learned from their tragedy are woven into the very fabric of every successful mission that followed. The moonshots of Apollo, the space shuttle, the IS all owe a debt to the crew of Apollo 1. Their fatal flaw wasn't a single wire or a single hatch. It was a failure to connect the dots between small, accepted risks. It was a lesson written in fire, one that ultimately saved the future of space exploration and helped humanity reach the moon.